Welcome back to the J Report. In his 50 years, Rudolf Kostner was considered both a hero and a villain. Did this man save thousands of Jews from the gas chamber, or did he send countless Jews to their death? Well, JLTV's Todd Siegel went to find out at a recent screening of the documentary Killing Kostner.
I'm Todd Siegel, and I'm at a sneak preview of the film Killing Kostner, a gripping and thought-provoking tale of a man who saved countless Jews during the Holocaust.
Rudolf Israel Kostner, a Hungarian Jewish lawyer and journalist, became known for helping Jewish refugees escape Nazi-occupied Hungary during the Holocaust. Between May and July of 1944, Hungarian Jews were being deported to Auschwitz at a rate of 12,000 per day for what the Nazis called resettlement. Kostner was able to negotiate with senior SS officer Adolf Eichmann, diverting more than 1,500 Jews to Switzerland on what was being called the Kostner train, exchanging their lives for money, gold, and diamonds.
1,700 Jews that went from Hungary in the midst of the worst deportations to Auschwitz and ended up held for ransom in Bergen-Belsen in a concentration camp and then went to Switzerland. And I thought, this is amazing. It's an amazing story that this Jew sat down and negotiated opposite Eichmann.
13 years later, Kostner became the victim of the first political assassination in the state of Israel. He was killed for what was stated as making a deal with the devil and determining which Jews to save from extermination.
Some people, it's understandable they weren't saved, their families weren't saved, or others feel guilty that they were rescued, and it's very complex.
So we've all heard about Oskar Schindler, but why is it that up until now we've never heard of Israel Kostner?
This man was erased. This is what's amazing. This man was erased. Too controversial, too complex, too difficult. And it's time that we change that.
The film, Killing Kostner, the Jew who dealt with Nazis, has screened at several film festivals around the world.
What we're trying to say with the film is that we're bringing new information, we're bringing new documentation, we're asking people to re-examine this whole legacy, because before he was just condemned and that was that, it was done. But now there's this whole other wealth of archive and knowledge, and the documentary is not that kind of film where it's didactic and people are lecturing you. It's really a thriller.
It feels very good that it's finally told in an appropriate manner, and it's getting around to really, new audiences, and it's sort of coming out at last.
I thought it was an incredible story. I heard about the story when I was doing the film about the Swiss banks and the Holocaust that I was producing at the time. And a woman told me that she got to Switzerland because she was on the Kostner transport. And I never heard of this rescue. I never heard of Kostner. I never heard of a rescue train.
Attending the screening were Kostner's granddaughter, Mirav Michaeli, and one of the survivors of the Kostner train, George Bishop.
There was one man, Kostner, who had the guts and the premonition to make a deal with the Germans. He bribed the SS, he bribed Eichmann and Kurt Becher and several others of the SS.
In one gripping scene, the director, Galen Ross, put Kostner's assassin and his daughter in the same room.
My mother always wanted to meet him because she wanted to hear from him who was really responsible for it, who sort of made it happen or made it possible to happen. And Galen made it happen, the meeting.
Now, Zsuzsi Kostner, Kostner's daughter, always wanted to meet and to understand more about the murder and who was behind the murder of her father. So this was a slow process, but they finally came together and talked in a neutral ground.
I can tell you only that my mother and the murderer, they really met on a human. This was like a really human interaction.
An emotional climax to a historically eye-opening film.
For the J Report, I'm Todd Siegel reporting.
I have to tell you, like Rudolf Kostner, I'm a Hungarian Jew that is both a journalist and a lawyer. So you can imagine how his journey really hit home for me. Okay, when we return, we will meet two Holocaust survivors from the great state of Maryland. Stay close.